I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, consideration of any changes or additions to the agenda. I have none.
I don't think I do.
Yeah?
None.
Okay. Approval of October 14th and October 22nd minute meetings. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve both October 14 and October 22 meeting minutes as written.
I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye.
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 Okay, moving on to reports. Highway and Transfer Station update. Clinton?
The new truck was supposed to arrive last week. Supposed to arrive this week, so I don't know when it is coming, but, as you know, we're into winter.
No.
Unfortunately, there's still only 2 of us, so people need to bear with us. Transfer station, we finally got the other shed moved, the new shed put in place. I know Kevin said something about somebody donated some blue board that he's gonna put in there just to help keep the warmth in, so I told him I didn't have a problem with that. And we did put one window in, and I told him in the spring or whenever we get a chance, I'll put the other window in the back for him, so he'll have 2 windows in there. So. And I do have a dumpster down there for tires, because the bin was full, and we needed to move them, so I had to get a dumpster for that. So. Other than that, that's all I got.
Any questions?
Did the Portonville patch get patched? Culvert? No.
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
He's gonna come and patch it just for the winter, and then
Okay.
he'll be back in the spring to
Yep.
permanent.
He'll do both in the spring.
Yeah.
The grader all.
No. I've made a dozen phone calls and nobody seems to call me back, so I don't know. I guess if anybody knows a diesel mechanic that could shim that circle on it. I called 3 different people and nobody calls back, so.
Okay. Town treasurer's update, Liz.
So, end of October, just shy of the due date for our annual tax bills. So the numbers, I'm just gonna jump down to property taxes receivable. It was about $444,000 at 10/31, but it was down to about $215,000. 225 at the date when things moved into actually being delinquent. And that's right around 3% of the total. So right on par compared to prior years. And signed the warrant, and Pete Perino, our delinquent tax collector, has that now, so that collection will have started. I think that's the big item on the balance sheet of note. Moving over to the profit and loss, we did receive in October the second quarter state aid for roads from the state of Vermont. We also received received the state current use payment, which is an annual payment. You see that they're both in the page 2 towards the top second portion there, intergovernmental. And we did get reimbursement and payment for grants and aid work that was done in August by the road crew. So those receipts all came in from the state. We're a full third of the way through the year, so just when you're looking at this, that's the comparison point. I know the sheriff started patrol again. We made $37.50 for the month of September related to our portion of fines, but it shows at least somebody received a ticket. It's a very small portion, and that's from the last couple of years. I would say that's about what we expect, but somebody got a ticket. So this is the last month for this time of year where you'll be seeing summer road labor. That'll switch over to winter for the month of November. Although being down, remember, we're not putting as far as spending there, but just a note. And those are the main items of kind of interest, and if specific, something on a particular line.
They don't.
Thank you, Liz. Any questions for Liz?
I have a question for you guys. Why aren't these posted on the website? Is there some reason, rationale for not making them public?
The agendas?
No,
Financial.
The financials?
Yeah.
Don't know, we probably can put them on the
I
website.
mean, otherwise we sit here looking stupid,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably
I just think,
partially true.
I just think they never have, and it hasn't come up.
Yeah.
So, no, we can look at posting them on the website going forward.
I will say timing would be probably part of the factor. And you may still have to sit here and wonder because the timing of this meeting and when they're everything's
I get
reconciled,
that.
but at least it'd be available after.
Yeah.
No, we can look at having them put on the website.
I do want the agenda item on here for the town audit. The auditors, which we've used in prior years, handled scheduling of the audit very differently this year, and they told us when they would be coming, which mostly worked. And they came and were on site, and David pulled lots of items for them, and I think they've done what they need to do on site. There was the question of whether we needed a single audit, which is related to federal funds and all of our FEMA monies. Thankfully, the answer is we do not. And that was based, the FEMA, it's recognized as the obligation date of the actual project being accepted. Almost all of which for us was in the 24, 25, this fiscal year 25 that's now being audited. But because it wasn't all spent in that year, we do not have to proceed down that path, which is good news because it would have been much more, there would have been a big additional cost as well as the time to go through all of the documentation again. But I think there's still some items to wrap up and I will ask them what else they need, but hopefully we're well ahead of getting a report for our published annual report, which is where we usually share it.
Very good. Thank you, Liz. Okay, Conservation Commission update, Phil?
Yeah, we have 4 items we'd like to bring to your attention. The 4th one is going to be talked about by Phil Leonard. The first is that we are close, we've decided which camera to spend the remaining, some of the remaining funds from this MERP grant that's floating around here. And I hope, we've discussed it and we've done the research, and it's about in the $400 range, give or take $50, I think. And so I think in terms of their capability of these devices and the cost, this looks like we're going to acquire one and have it available for people in the library so they can find out where heat is leaking out or into their house, whichever happens to be them. So I hope that when the bill comes due that we can access those funds. And we are considering and hopefully will proceed to make an application for some recreational trail funds through the, I think it's the ANR, Agency of Natural Resources. And that would be to put in some boardwalks and bridges and things over on, I don't know whether any of, I know several people here have been to the, what is it, the Syria Farm trails that David Martin and Andy Schultz, I think, have made available to the public, not just Mount Holly. And there are several spots where in many times of the year you need to walk on water. And so we put some boardwalks in there and we put some bridges to ford a few places where it's problematic that everyone could get across without getting their feet wet. And we're still working on that. One of the problems is that the grant program looks for a minimum grants of $7,500. And when we looked at what we were planning to do, it was about $3,000. So we're thinking maybe we should be more aggressive. But anyway, and that's due on the 21st. So I don't know. Probably won't be able to get it reviewed by you guys, or do you have a proposal how we might get it reviewed? And before we send it in, or do you want to review? That's the other question.
That's a pre-application, right?
Pre-application, yeah, but
it's
it's pretty extensive. And in fact, it looks to me like if you get selected for the regular application, you're more likely to get it. And that's anyway there.
What format is it in? Is it on ANR's website or how are you?
you know, we got an email from them and links to all that information on there. And, but it, you know, there
Yeah, I
are,
think I don't have it with me, but we have a,
I just wondered if it was something that you could easily email, just.
yes, well, when we fill it out, I'm sure we can email it, because the submission process is by email as well. So, and, but it looks like it's, you know, an extensive, complicated proposal that you need to put together with permitting, because I don't think we need any permits for private land. But I don't know what we need to do for obviously something, and also make sure that we're obeying all the requirements for, you know, people not falling over and stuff like that.
Liabilities, yeah.
That kind of stuff, yeah. So anyway, I mean, we hope to go forward with that. And, but today's the 11th and it's due on the 21st, so we have 10 days.
I think if you mail,
Pardon?
if you email it to
Yeah.
the select board,
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
you know,
we
they
get
can distribute it to the rest of us.
Okay. And the third item is, we are proposing, and I haven't talked to Clinton about this, but I know Dennis has his eye on some of the trees in the Star Lake Recreation area need serious attention, and many of them need need some trimming so that the branches don't fall on people and stuff like that, and to make them healthier, frankly. And so we'll come with a list of those things, and perhaps for the December meeting, and we'll hopefully be able to get some support both from Clinton and well, I guess just Clinton now, or one other person, but or maybe get some help from hire some people to do it too. But there's one fellow in town that Dennis has talked to who apparently likes to cut down trees. So.
Well, he hasn't been very, let's say, because there's a tree in the cemetery that needs to be cut down or taken care of.
Which cemetery?
What was it Dennis had here?
Oh, I thought it was no, it's at
The
the.
Carlton Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
And he's got an issue there, so he's been working on it. One guy is not available, and now he's trying to get another guy, and he's been working on this since last spring,
It's been for a while.
Yeah.
so.
Anyway, we'll come anyway. So the issue of attention to the trees in the recreation is part of our program to make that more hospitable. I think more hospitable than it has been, I would say. And the final item is our harvesting in Star Lake for 2026, and Phil Leonard is familiar with all of the details there. And
okay, so we do have, after some back and forth, a partial permit for harvesting in Star Lake. But before I do that, I just wanted to mention very quickly that we had a small grant for some weed removal this summer. And the work we've done with that has been completed and expenditures have been made, and the year for that ends at the end of this month. And it's the same grant that does the Lake Nineveh breeder program. And Elizabeth over there and I have been working on the reporting, and that's going to get over to here soon. So that I think it's just a setup where the town has to apply for the grant, and the town has to send the reporting, but that's well underway. I just wanted you to know that.
In 2 days by the end of this month.
The report is due at the end of this month, but it's essentially done. I mean, I know Liz has she's sent stuff, a message over here
we've been in touch today, and you know we've got stuff together, including all the expenditures and that kind of stuff. So. Now on the mechanical harvesting, this permit will allow some harvesting in a portion of the lake, a portion that's extended out from where the raft is usually put, but not awfully far. I mean, I didn't bring the actual, again, we've got the permit, you guys probably have or access to the permit because it's online. I can send it over as well to show exactly what it is, but Robert Majeski has built a harvester. It's housed on Ron and Dottie's land along Hillville Road. If you see a funny thing wrapped in white, that's it. And we'll be able to do some work with that. What I wanted to find out is really ask you guys about two things. One is, will the town support, we'll find places for it to go, but hauling stuff to where it needs to go once it comes out of the lake, because that's important. I think that we have an idea about that. I talked briefly to Clinton about it, but you know, if the town could, and we don't know the quantities because we haven't done this before.
Usually once
precise.
once you pull it out of the water and you let it lay it out, if there's a spot up there, it ends up being, you know, like dwindling to nothing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of like, you have a spot to dry it out.
Is there any requirements from the state on where it can go? I know when they did the dam, the dirt had special requirements where it could and could not go.
I will investigate all of that and make sure that we find places that are suitable.
But this is all vegetable matter, right?
Yeah, this is.
I don't think there would be, from my experience, there isn't, but it's different from that dirt. That dirt is very specific.
I can speak to the last harvesting. There was no restriction.
Okay.
So we took some. Harold Chadburn took some. It was anywhere really.
Well, where did you, when you took it out of there, did you let it dry out?
Yeah, I think Bovie Camp did it. You know, drove it up the road, 2 truckloads, and just dumped it in our field where that monster, that white monthly, is right now. And we let it sit for a couple of years. It makes great compost. We put it in our gardens.
Yeah, I think we'll look long range for strategies to make it available as compost for people. I, you know, did that on sort of small bin loads this summer with somebody in town, and but
Just keep touch as spring comes. And
Yeah, as we get closer.
Yeah.
Closer.
Yeah. And the second thing is, we will want to raise some funds to support work at Star Lake, including to make Robert whole for what he's got into this machine, and because he's done it. It's pretty amazing, and I think it will do a great job of what's going on out there, and also just general improvements around Star Lake. And 2 options occur to me as to what might be done. One is we could have the possibility that people could contribute something to the town flag for Star Lake, and that would provide a tax exempt kind of mechanism for that. I think other towns do that for special projects. And the second possibility is the one that was used in the past, and Ron knows the most about that, was to ask the Conservation Trust to have a cubbyhole or a source, a fund handled in the same way, because that's a nonprofit.
Like the Friends of Star Lake.
Yeah, the Friends of Star Lake is what it was called, but if I'm right, Ron, that wasn't its own independent
That's right. It was
thing. It was the monies were collected that way. Is there any openness on the part of the town to a special fund run through the town office that people contributed?
So it would not, there is no tax benefit to people if they contribute to the town, because we are not a 501c3.
Okay.
So I would suggest that you, if the goal is to
Okay.
offer a tax exemption, that not be the way to do it.
Try doing through maybe the community association or maybe
Yeah.
a museum.
I
Well,
would think the community association might be a
Are you
good.
talking more of a tax benefit to something you have to purchase? Or are you
Well,
talking more
for
for
people
people that
to-
don't?
For people donating.
people, for
Donate the
people who
tax
make
deduction.
donations, that it's a deduction. Now, that's,
Yeah.
you know, for most people, that's not as valuable as it used to be.
Well, with the tax law changes, it is, again,
It is.
you can get up to $1,000 for a single person or
Yeah,
2,000
okay,
for
okay.
married. Without
That's
having,
always been true in Vermont,
without having to
from
itemize.
Vermont.
Small portion of it
Yeah.
flows through to Vermont, but
No, but the taxes, the deduction has always been available from Vermont,
Right,
on your Vermont tax.
on Vermont tax.
Yeah, there's a,
Federal tax.
there's a, yeah,
There's a
right.
one little box, yeah.
but if the trust or something else
Okay,
might
all right, so there's,
be able to host
all right,
a fund.
okay, I will look, I will look into, that aspect of things. And come up with a mechanism for raising some money to support what we're doing, because, you know, I think it,
I mean, if you're looking to raise like $1,000 or something, then you could probably do something similar to what we did for the memorial fund, which was like a
Yeah.
couple grand. I mean, it's not worth setting up a nonprofit for collecting
Right,
$1,000 and
No, but you could have, like, the community association could have a special Starlight Fund, or some other nonprofit could, if they're willing to host it.
It depends on how.
Right,
Okay,
it
it's gonna
depends.
depend on how they're organized. I don't know if the community association, I'd have to read it to see if they could cover, you know, cost of equipment repairing Starlight.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
able to
Yeah.
do something,
When
Or
COVID
the
happened,
beach,
you're
that
trying
kind
to
of
run
thing.
stuff through them.
but it does fall into
Yeah,
the
it's
conservation
A
trust's
party organization.
mission
Yeah.
statement,
yeah,
which
right,
is
right.
more
Well, okay,
logical.
that's
I mean, if the worst comes to worst, you have to pay Robert to run his machine.
this is helpful, helpful information, so.
Or it could come through the town.
Right.
Yeah, right, right. Okay,
People would have to know up front.
Right.
It's not a 501c3.
Right.
Not
Right.
taxed.
right.
Don't put us on your tax return.
Okay. Don't put us on,
Don't
I'll
put the
write
town.
that down. I will.
Yeah.
Unless it's real estate taxes.
So that's what I have there.
I just did a search, and it said, and I thought this was true, contributions to a local government are tax deductible if they are made for a solely public purpose.
Oh.
So they might, though they're not a 501c, there are other ways you could get a tax deduction. It might be worth looking into.
It wasn't AI, was it?
Actually was, but I do remember this.
So.
Yeah.
Any questions for Phil? Steve, you had your hand up.
Well, I was gonna say Dennis at last night's museum board meeting indicated that he was looking into getting a tree taken down on the museum's land and 2 trees at the beach. And he was talking to somebody, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, but the issue was, did he have liability insurance sufficient to cover himself?
Okay.
So Dennis is still working on it.
I'm sure Dennis will bring it to our attention.
Yes, you are.
All right, we're gonna move on. New business, employee health insurance 2026 premium renewal.
I was looking through this and on, next to the last page, it has the plans. And presently, we are the gold 3 QHDHP plan. which is the very top. And then when you go down to the next section for standard plans, Platinum 1, I'm wondering what is the big difference between those two plans? Besides deductibles.
Do you have the plan details?
This is all I have. I don't have
Like
it, no. And that was the question I had, if, and it's just a few dollars more for Platinum 1. So not few, couple hundred.
does Platinum, is it a,
400.
Do you wanna,
yeah, I'm just curious to see if it is eligible. So I think the Platinum would not be eligible for, it's not a high deductible health plan, so you wouldn't be able to include the HRA or HSA as
okay.
part of the benefit package. But there's a very, the out-of-pocket maximum is reduced so much that I wouldn't think you would want to anyways, if you pay more for the premium, it'd just be a matter of what the cost, overall cost is, what the cost comparison
Stick
is.
with what we have.
Staying with what we got is. Okay.
So is there a motion?
I make a motion that we stay with the plan that we have presently.
Is there a second? I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye,
Aye.
and a lot of signatures are needed.
These are premiums didn't go up too terribly.
No, actually, it was very reasonable, it was about 1.3%. So that was huge, compared to other insurances that I'm hearing going up double digits.
Blue Cross, my company, I work at, this switched from Blue Cross to different, so it went up 19%.
Yeah.
That stuff with that.
MVP was good.
All, unfortunately, healthcares are going through the roof right now. For everywhere. Okay, moving on. Appointment to the Planning Commission. Now, we have we have two individuals that put letters of interest into the Planning Commission. The first one is John seeking reappointment to the Planning Commission with multiple letters for reappointment from individuals within town. One of the individuals was Dan and Nancy O'Connor. Another individual is Bridget Sullivan. Another one is Betsy McGee. Another one is Pam Myers. And another one is Andy Schultz. That's for the reappointment of John.
That's letters of support.
Those are letters of support. Yes. Another individual is June Capron, with multiple letters of support as well. One letter of support is from Christine Pratt. Another letter of support is from Steve Michelle. Another one is Phil and Mary Leonard. Another letter of support is Jim and Donna Seward. So I don't know if either one of you want to say a little bit about yourselves.
How many positions are available?
One. John?
Sure, I can read the letter.
Yep, absolutely.
Dear members of the Mount Holly Selectboard, I'm writing to request reappointment to the Mount Holly Planning Commission for another term so that I can continue to work with you all together. It has been my privilege to serve as chair of the commission for the last 5 years. Since my last reappointment in 2022, I've helped deliver a series of concrete results for the town, including May 9, 2023, Mount Holly Flood Hazard and River Corridor Bylaw. This bylaw secured for the town the maximum allowable state reimbursement rate for flood disasters. The first qualifying flood event occurred roughly a month after the bylaw went into effect. I coordinated the process end-to-end with state, local, and regional partners. 2023 Mount Holly Community Values Survey and Belmont Village Master Plan. This project provided both the Select Board and the Planning Commission with a clearer understanding of community priorities and needs. I wrote the successful grant application, helped conduct the survey, and co-managed the project with Jeff Chase. February 2024 Mount Holly Town Plan. The town plan is the primary way that the wishes of the town are taken into consideration in the Act 250 process. In addition to taking a lead role in the drafting of the plan, I produced all the maps, work the town would normally have to contract out at significant cost. These maps were also used for the Rutland Regional Plan, extending the benefit of that work beyond the town. April 2024, Belmont Village Center designation renewal. This designation supports reinvestment in the village, improves eligibility for certain state programs, and helps preserve the character of Belmont while supporting appropriate economic activity. I drafted the successful renewal application and submitted it to the state. 2025 through present day, housing needs assessment and action plan. This work will provide the Select Board with essential information about housing affordability, housing stock conditions, and areas where future economic growth can be responsibly supported. I wrote the successful grant application, led the team that selected the contractor, and managed the project with Jeff Chase. In the course of this work, I have partnered closely with the Select Board on a number of town priorities, including the local hazard mitigation plan, and at last count, 5 separate grants. Those shared projects reflect a strong working relationship with the town government and a shared commitment to using outside funding for technical assistance to reduce the burden on local taxpayers. I've also represented Mount Holly beyond our borders. I served for more than 6 years as the town's representative or alternate to the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, and I have a strong working relationship with the U.S. Forest Service District Ranger and the State Lands Team for Okemo State Forest, as well as other state authorities. Those relationships help ensure that town interests are understood and respected at the regional, state, and federal levels. Throughout my work, I have tried to serve the town through respectful and consistent application of our rules, and with the belief that transparency ensures fairness and gives residents confidence that their town works for everyone. I've also worked to maintain a culture of respect, partly by keeping partisan politics and personal drama out of how we handle our business. Although I've often taken on a large share of the drafting and grant work, I have been deliberate about bringing other members into the process. I regularly circulate drafts in advance, ask for commissioners' reactions, and adjust our work to reflect their input. As a result, we have a solid functional working group. Commissioners contribute to varying degrees between meetings. But there's a shared understanding that when we are at the table, everyone's views will be heard and taken seriously. I believe that has built trust within the commission and with the public. I have been steady and present in my leadership, even when personal circumstances made that difficult. I would like the opportunity to continue that service. Looking ahead, I'm especially interested in completing the housing needs assessment and action plan and helping the town move from data to concrete actionable steps. Serving on the team to complete the required update to the local hazard mitigation plan, making much needed fixes to our subdivision process so that it is clearer, more consistent with state law, and easier for applicants to navigate, and helping to ensure that Mount Holly's interests are respected and protected as the state's new Act 250 law goes into effect next year. All my efforts reflect the same basic approach. Do the work carefully, follow the rules, keep the process transparent, and treat everyone who comes before the commission with respect. I believe that approach has served Mount Holly well, and I would welcome the chance to continue it for another term. Thank you for considering my request for reappointment and for your continued work on behalf of the town.
Thank you, John. June?
Just tell you a little bit about myself. Been a homeowner in Mount Holly for over 30 years, and I've been attending the select board meetings to get more involved. And I'm over at Lake Nineveh, and I'm on their executive board, and also their building review board. And so I know, you know, a lot about the association rules and the town rules as far as, you know, building and that. I believe I can listen, learn, and try to do what is best for Mount Holly citizens. And so I'm just asking to be considered for the position.
Thank you, June. Any questions from the board? Okay, we have the two candidates that are seeking this position. I'm going to look for a motion for a candidate.
I will, they're two good candidates. I appreciate seeing good interest. I've worked with John for the past 6 years. So I'd make a motion. As much as June, I like her interest, I don't want to squash anybody's interest either. But just based on kind of his history and how much help he's been to both me and I think, in my opinion, to the town, I'd make a motion for John McCann.
The ayes?
No, second.
The second? Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, the ayes?
Aye.
I'll say aye. I'd like to see the continuing ongoing, especially with the housing needs. And after, I would like to have a report from you on this.
That's part of the grant, there will be one for sure.
We've been, that communication, we've been in touch with the
And then any.
consultant, so we're making more headway.
So any assistance you can offer for Jeff on this situation.
I do, like, hopefully there's another position, somebody, like, don't wanna like I said, don't wanna squash James' interest, cause
No, I'd like to see Joan there too.
I'm not sure when the next position's open, but.
I'm not sure. Off the top of my head, yeah, it's probably yearly.
May I make a suggestion? When you have executives, delay it for a little while and you guys can talk privately in executive session and then come back and make your decision.
I think there was already a motion made
Oh,
in a second.
and sorry.
And I believe there's, is Is it next year?
Yeah, there's 2 next year and then 2 in 27. This is the 1 year where there's only 1.
So the ayes have it. So John, congratulations on your reappointment. June, please continue to seek. This is this. Appointments to the Rutland Regional Emergency Management Committee.
It's an annual one, isn't it? Just an annual one.
Is the
Yes.
eagle. I
Yes.
don't,
I think I'm mandated probably because I'm the EMD, and then
Yeah.
we get somebody.
Billy Austin is the
Yeah.
other, is the second.
Billy's not here to say that he won't do it, so.
so I'll make a motion to reappoint Jeff and Billy Austin, if they consider the appointment. Is there a second?
I second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Jeff, do you accept?
Except.
Thank you. Jeff, thank you, Billy. Renewal of the Mount Holly Gov website. Elizabeth?
This was something that it was writing a letter last year to secure it. The federal government oversees the .gov domain. I thought with having more things online, that it would be helpful for the town to be the one associated with the same domain that the town currently uses for the .org, just having it for .gov. So if the select board is open to continuing that, we just have to resubmit to make the request that continue. And it is currently, you can go to either the .gov or .org and it points you to the town's website. I don't think we haven't utilized it beyond that, but it does offer the potential for future if you wanted to use it as a email address or something with the .gov. So I just wanted to ask the board if that's something.
No, I think it's something we should continue.
It's free, so.
Yep. No, I think that is something that we should continue.
So the .org one has a Mount Holly VT, right?
It's the exact same, it's Mount Holly VT.
It's not printed that way here, that's why I was asking.
It's
typo.
Yeah, I think that's just a mistake on the agenda. It is the exact same
Okay.
Mount Holly VT.
But with the different
.gov.
extension, okay.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Okay, renew the FWS permit.
This is our geese depredation permit that we have been getting for 14 years or so. And this is the renewal process. And I've worked with Faith already. Last year, administrator filed it and went through well. We have a preliminary forms, first step from the Department of Agriculture. They've approved that step. So I would like to continue working with Faith and get it filed. It was, by the way, is very effective this year. I think almost better than other years. The loose poop was almost gone by July, which is not usually the case. So I would ask the select board to approve filing for this permit for another year.
I'll make a motion to approve the filing for the geese permit for another year. Is there a second?
I'll second that for sure.
The ayes?
Point of information, what is FWS?
Forest and wildlife service? Oh my God, no.
Fish.
Fish and wildlife,
Fish and
thank you.
wildlife.
Fish and wildlife. One other comment, I'm working with Faith to try to find another shooter. I am the official Wyatt Earp in this, and I'm turning 80 in a few months, and I would like to hand off that baton. So we have one possible candidate, but please, to the cameras or whatever, if there's anyone in town who would like to take over the role, of shooting the geese. It's not a huge rule. Please contact me or Faith in the next week or so, because we're gonna have to finalize that.
That's shooting and burying.
Are there,
Yes,
what are the requirements to be the shooter?
you,
Have a gun.
yes, you have to have a hunting license, or a Vermont hunting license, that's it. And the requirements are written in the permit, you have to bury them or burn them, so you can't eat them, but that's just a detail. But it basically means going to the beach every now and then
Someone with a
and
valid hunting license or can get one.
yes, have one or get one. And you supply your own gun, I mean,
Not,
And ammo.
but 80 is.
and have ammo.
They have to supply their own ammo too, probably.
I actually, yes, I bought my own ammo and it's,
Steel shot, not
it's
lead.
steel shot, absolutely. That's specified in the permit. And if they want some of my leftover shot, they're welcome to it. I think my days of hunting are over. I hope.
We
Wow.
can't use
Yeah,
the
You're
same
almost 80, that should not qualify.
I think it's time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay, old business, speed limit on section of 155 update.
You forgot
You
one.
got one.
You got F.
Oh, I did, I
Passive.
forgot that. Passive renewal.
David and I worked with Faith on this, last Monday before last. Last Monday? Well, a Monday. Anyways, it had to be done by the 14th, and Faith was getting ready to leave. So we figured we had to get it done. She wasn't gonna be back in time, so we worked on it and got it completed, and thanks for a lot of help from David on getting us the information we needed to pull it together. But it is completed.
What is it?
It's our insurance for our vehicles, for our workers' comp, and everything for the town, the buildings,
property.
Property and
properties.
casualty insurance. Okay.
Is there a motion to accept it as is?
I'll make a motion to accept the past PACSIP renewal as is.
I'll second it. The ayes? Aye.
Could be Olson.
Okay, now going on to old business, speed limit on section of 155, update on progress and next steps.
I think we just received acknowledgement
I think
from
we
the
did.
state, from the
We did.
traffic committee, and that's the update. I think it's,
Yeah.
they're in their hands at this point.
Yeah, it's in there, they gotta make the decision at
This
the next
is,
level.
this is update on progress and
Yep.
next steps. On-site work has been completed and the engineering study should be available within the next week or so to give the
December 10th.
select board time to review before the traffic committee meeting on December 10th at 1:30 PM with the possibility of joining remotely.
So we'll have more information, I hope, for the December meeting.
There'll be you can physically attend and virtually attend, so probably if people are interested, they probably put that in the meeting minutes
Yeah.
how to attend, because
Right.
it would be, the more people I think that
Absolutely.
show up to that public meeting, the better.
It would be much better, it'd be
I think
more
that work, that's
support.
work that Shrewsbury had done, we had a lot of people show up, so.
Where is the public meeting?
It's in Berlin, but it said there will be a virtual in-call option also. So probably Teams or Zoom. And that meeting's on December 10th at 1:30.
We can,
You can
we
actually
can,
put it on the news flash and other
yes,
things.
get it out there on the news flash so people will know about it, and we'll get,
Once we
I
get the
hope we can get it,
recommendations
yeah.
from on the website and the news flash.
yeah, we can get a link that can attach it, so people can virtually go out there and support it. Any questions? Okay, moving on. FEMA Beaver Meadow Bridge Project time extension. Liz?
So our final remaining July 2023 flood project, the town's grant, I'll specify there, I know there's two other things, but we need to submit a time extension. We initially said last year that we would finalize it by this year's end, which we had not done, so just. It's sort of, just putting it in and it gets approved. But with current political issues, the state has said, you really need to make sure your explanation is acceptable and on point, because everything's being scrutinized, a lot more in detail, versus just assuming yes, you're still gonna do it, so just, making that, giving it a little more, emphasis and making, I think last year's letter was pretty boilerplate, but,
We can write up like a schedule, like I know for the other grants, like they want a timeline, so I can send that and maybe you can include that in your
yeah,
justification.
anything that you can add, cause I really, just that side of it, I certainly can't explain it, I can make it fit within the general template, but I also just wanted to bring that officially to the board, so that there is approval to extend that timeline, so I was looking.
Is there a motion to,
I'll make a motion to extend the,
Do we wanna give it time?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what do you think is a reasonable
What do you
year?
think is reasonable?
I would say at least till next October,
Okay, I feel like if we
October
put
30th.
end of October.
what do they require for an extension? How long do they allow you?
There's no specific guidance. You don't have like a year or, you know, it's really is it reasonable that you're asking for more time is more what they're looking at. I know last year when we submitted, I put December 31st and they said, well, what about October, like the end of the actual construction time frame, but they were fine. I said, no, it's fine, just do December, like going into this one, maybe by October 31st
Yeah,
of 2026.
Okay, so the motion is to, put in for the extension on the FEMA Beaver Meadow Bridge to October of 31st of 2026.
I'll second it. The ayes? Aye. Thank you, Liz. Okay, citizens' comments, concerns?
I have one question, if you could speak more on it, is on the housing needs. How is that going along?
It's been a little slow, to be honest, so we've asked for an extension now for the grant because we're running up against the deadline. We have the contractor back working with the signal we had and working with the hoping to have a December select board meeting or anyway, there is on the chart of activities or deliverables, there is a select board meeting plan, a presentation. I'm not sure when we pushed that to now, but it was supposed to be, I think, this coming month, but
I think
we're coming up to the very end. But there will be, if you have thoughts that you want to share with the contractor, this would be a great time to do it.
we can grab a draft too, there is a draft of it, it's
Yeah.
just a working document, but I can get that we have a meeting with her on Thursday, and we can ask her for an email out to everybody. We can, if it's suitable, even share it publicly, or we should be within a couple weeks of being able to, I would say
a couple weeks away from public, just release.
the consultant that we hired, which went off the radar for about 2 months, and I was trying to reach out to her, and then finally just reappeared in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, Jeff sent like 4 emails, so I think we're back on.
Yeah, she's in to be back on, because even today she was asking about the extension, so, which then spurred Jennifer to respond last night from the state, so I just got a write up an extension. So, we had a little bit of a hiccup with we hired a consultant that works for a large consult company,
I guess so.
and I thought something happened to her, to be honest.
Yeah, we were hoping this would be like kind of turnkey, like they go and often do all the work and we don't have to do a whole lot, but it turned out that they went off and weren't doing all that, but they're back at it.
Okay, so.
So I would hope, I mean, extension, we'll talk to Julia, but I think wrap this thing up by the end of February, we get the, for closeout paperwork, like, we'll get through the public comment.
I can't see any reason why they wouldn't allow an extension. Allow up to a year, I don't think we'll need any more than, like Jeff said,
A quarter, yeah, first quarter.
Scheduling a select public presentations.
It's tricky around the holidays, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't wanna rush that.
So moving forward after the extension and everything is all completed. What goes on after that?
There's either one or two public there's on the schedule that we created for them, one or two public reviews or public meetings, two.
I can't remember if we ended up with one or two.
Yeah. There should be one public meeting where, and at this point, I don't know if we wanna stack it up between Thanksgiving and Christmas, or if we wanna set up the New Year, yeah,
New
like,
Year.
Go to the
Yeah,
New Year,
I
I
would go to
think.
the New Year.
Oh, yeah, cause
maybe we get that plan out in December and then try to get as many, put it, run it through the
Digest
news,
it.
flash and
Read it by the fire.
Yeah,
Yes.
and come to the new year. Okay. Perfect. Thanks,
The idea
Jeff.
is to get feedback after that meeting and then we'll incorporate it.
And we
How
have
do you guys
reached,
get to?
we did have her reach out to employers like Countryside and Hawkins and Master Plumbing to try to get input with their employee housing needs.
And, right, construction.
And right, yes, there you go.
We made sure that they had the latest information from Master Plummer, because that's been changing and stuff.
Right, cause now they're in town.
Well, they'll have apartments there too.
And we got input from the school too.
Oh, is that why it's so big?
Yes, it's got a hole upstairs.
Holy, I thought that was all part of this. Well, it is,
Well, it
a different
is.
way.
Well, it's
It is.
kind of the common theme is that there's not a lot of places for workers to live in town or afford, so they have to build their own.
Thanks, Jeff. John? Moving on to citizens' concerns, comments?
I'd like to make one.
Yes.
It's about the planning commission. First, John is very competent, hardworking. I understand why you voted for him. But I've made an observation over the last year or so, more generally about the planning commission, and John is its chairman, that it seems to have become quite confrontational. There are a few examples of that. And I somehow think the tone of the planning commission should be more supportive of our businesses, our residents who come in, whether it's Blue Spruce Inn or wherever. And it's a tonal issue. Obviously, that plays an important role. I would just make that, I would like to see a change. It's not for me to demand anything like that, but it's my observation as a citizen. I just felt I should say it at this transition with John, continuing as his chairmanship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Okay, moving on, announcements. I have none on the list, so.
Carol's got closings,
Oh, I don't have,
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before.
You didn't put it on the agenda.
Well, because I put it on last month.
That means she's serving
She's
dinner.
open all Christmas,
She's open
all December though.
all. She's all the way. Yeah, all the way.
So, but no, we're closed on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Day. And the same with Christmas, we're closed that Wednesday and Christmas. And we're doing a half day for New Year's Day. I mean, New Year's Eve and then closed on New Year's.
Okay. Thank you, Carol.
Are you closed for Hanukkah?
Review and sign the orders.
All day.
Executive session, Title 1, VSA S313A3, personnel. I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes? Aye.